Good morning. Oh shit. Yeah, it's fine. I can go this way. Blood test, panpsychism, friendship bracelet. I kind of already had the panpsychism conversation with Sarah just now. I'm thinking of getting a blood test. Not because anything's wrong. Well, I don't know, maybe something is wrong. But not because I think that there's something wrong. I just think it's probably quite cheap here to get like full panel blood tests. I'll check, but yeah, and then maybe like every 3 to 6 months, especially when I'm in a place with like quite a restricted diet where it's basically the same vegetables and the same protein every day, 3 times a day for a month, to see what I might need to like bring it back to like good levels and stuff, and just see if there's anything that I'm lacking and all that kind of thing. So I think I'm going to do that. What else? Panpsychism. Basically, I do believe in the general idea of mereological nihilism, where categories and separation of stuff is pretty arbitrary and kind of just created by our minds to make sense of the world, but the world and the universe itself has no boundaries. But then I also believe that there are emergent properties to things. Like a tree obviously has new properties that the atoms of the tree don't, or like the collection of cells don't. And so those properties are often immaterial, but they do exist. So you can be a it can be a mereological nihilist, but also believe in sort of categorization of stuff by emergent property. Is that a thing? Kind of makes sense to me. Because then I was thinking about materialism versus non-materialism, and whether the consciousness is material, whether I think consciousness is material or immaterial. And if it's material, and you as a mereological nihilist believe there's no boundaries between anything material, it is just all stuff, then I guess it stands to reason, it's not quite right, but it stands to reason to some degree, that my consciousness also is non-bounded. But if consciousness is an emergent property, maybe there's another formation of me that is non-bounded, but my consciousness is, because it is an emergent property of my biological development stuff. Now the question is, what does all this mean? I don't know. I have to think it through as to whether it has an impact on me at all, or whether it means anything. But maybe there's a thread here that's worth pulling on consciousness and stuff. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet, but I do maybe want to give a little think poo. Had a call with Emma yesterday, which was really lovely. Really nice to catch up. Miss her very much, and she might come and visit. Come and visit if you're watching next year. And we agreed to both make friendship bracelets for each other, wear them, and then when we next see each other, exchange them, which I think would be really, really cute. So I need to find or make a bracelet. So I could buy beads and make one, or Chiang Mai and Pai probably have loads of stuff there, so I might have a look there. Or yeah, maybe I just see something that really fits. And then I also need to make a dream catcher, or buy a dream catcher, but I want it to be small enough to fit on Sarah's bag. And I do have until Cambodia to make it. I want to get something from where she sits by the river to attach to it at least. And then I did catch Simona saying that there was a market that had dream catchers there, like handmade dream catchers and stuff. So there definitely is a place that makes them. So maybe if I take a few materials, they'll like make a custom one, or maybe I should just make the whole thing. I don't know. But yes, maybe I just get some materials and I find a shop that makes them and I ask if they'll make me one or something. Anyway, I don't know. I'm now on email duty. I'm going to try and create a mail merge system, coding mail merge system, and oh, puddings. Yes, I get to try out the puddings that I left overnight and see how they age overnight, and then test them out with the big, not even the big boss, one of the bosses, who's the tougher boss to please, Agnes, the Dutch, the Iron Dutch. Oh, that doesn't work. Whatever, I'll come up with a nickname for her. So yeah, on my way to the office, and let's see how the puddings go. Don't know if you can see it. It's this beautiful black and yellow insect. Big success day. I finished all the code for everything, and I ran it and it worked, and then I ran the code for the mail out and it worked. So I have been hyper productive, and I sent all the emails that needed to go out, which is like 50 plus, and includes emails from before I was even here, so the previous person couldn't even get through all the ones they needed to, and I got through all of them. So that's cool. And it should work for the future. So that's really cool. And then I had Big Boss Agnes try my dessert, and her friend try the new pudding recipe, and they both thought that it was better. And they said something like, she was like, for more than 2 years people have been trying to make a vegan recipe and they haven't been able to do it, and then I've done it and it'll be easier and cheaper to make. So yeah, pretty happy with that. And so they've agreed that all the puddings from now on will be vegan, which means no gelatin will be used, which I think is wonderful. And it will be, there's a tour tomorrow, so that will be the first time that it'll be trialed by new people. I might see if the tour guides can tell them, like, hey, this is the first time you guys are getting the new recipe, like, to give a little nod to whether they like it or not. So yeah, feeling good. And that's my day off tomorrow, so that's pretty great too. And there's a barber 25 minutes walk away in this little village, so I might go today. It closes at 8, so I might go before lunch. So go have a shower and then eat lunch, which would be nice. Or maybe I'll go after dinner when it's cooler. I'm not sure. I could do anything. Yeah, good day. Good day in the last run week. Feels good. So I'm gonna open this. It's late, but in case you don't remember, I was saving it for a particularly rough day, which today was, for some reason. And honestly, I'm not sure why. I will reflect on it now. I want this to be good. Very much. Velvet coconut milk chocolate, plant-based, dairy-free. It's very good. It's really good. Oh, it's really, really good. Oh my god, this brand crushes. Holy crap. What an amazing drink. So, maybe it's sleep. Or maybe it really is the issues. Whoa, it's really good. Maybe it really is the issues that I'm gonna go through. But yeah, I had a very successful day, as you know, with the puddings and with the coding working. But I think both were actually causing me stress in my body the whole day, where I was worried that the puddings weren't going to get accepted or something, or weren't going to work out. And now I have to make a load of them in the morning for the first time for guests, which I think is obviously going to go great because I've tested it, but these ones were left overnight, so they had time to set, so I know the recipe works for overnight. I know the recipe works for the day, so I don't know why that would bother me. But when I was coding and just sitting in that office the whole day, it's enjoyable, but I really do get very bodily stressed when I'm doing a coding or computer project like that, and I push my body in silly ways. Like, I needed to pee, but I was in the middle of a bit that I was testing, so I just sat there through it. And yeah. Little things. And then I was talking to myself a lot about mereology and ontology and the study of stuff and things and categories and if they're real or not and what that means and consciousness. And I talked to Sarah about it. She's always really, really lovely. She really listens and engages. We actually had a very, very wonderful conversation by the river when I wasn't feeling super. I felt a lot better talking to her, talking about what kind of space I would like to be in, like physically, and I described a big room that I really liked and what would make me feel cozy and all that kind of stuff. Really just quite a wonderful conversation. Anyway, but we then went to dinner and I felt so on the outside of the conversation, and not because I had to be, but because I just really wanted to talk about matters that matter and things with like real substance and with people who wanted to do that with me and be challenging and think critically. And I just felt very starkly outside of it all. And it really struck me. In like not a great way. But almost like a sort of sly, undercutting, undermining feeling. It wasn't like an aggressive, egotistical lashing out at people for not being what I want them to be, or conforming, or talking to me, or whatever. It was like a slow, low, juddering friction between me and the world in that way. So, not great of a transition into the afternoon and the evening. And then I mentioned already that one of the girls had been messaged by one of the mahouts. Still not entirely sure where the number came from, how he got her number. But it looks like they've been texting back and forth a bunch. And I asked her what she wanted, and whether she wanted some, it was just this like very dramatic, self-defeating conversation where it seemed like she was being made to feel uncomfortable by this guy. And little things like inviting her to like nights out or to go with them to places, and rolling up in the car next to her or something, but not rolling the windows down and just kind of driving next to her for a while. Like really kind of weird, honestly. But yeah, messaging her, and I was like, well, have you said to him that you're not interested? I was like, are you interested? She was like, no. I was like, okay, have you said that? Bearing in mind this guy doesn't really speak English, from a very different culture, this is not excuses for his behavior if his behavior is making her uncomfortable. But if you're not explicitly telling him quite overtly that you're not interested or you don't want something, I don't know, it's really hard for me to... I'm a bit like, just say it, be out, just say it. So I was becoming really blunt, and I don't think I offended anyone or anything, but I was just coming out with it being like, you're not giving yourself a platform to be able to stand on and say, I am made uncomfortable and that is not okay. Because you haven't said at any point that you're being made uncomfortable, or that you don't want this to happen, or that you're not interested. So I just see past that. And I'm like, just do that. It's not hard. It's not that difficult. To just be honest and be open with what you want and how you feel. How's he gonna know? The rolling by in the car thing is really, really weird though. Everything else is not that weird. Just inviting her to like go to a car show. Or when they get in a car going somewhere, being like inviting her to go with them to wherever it is that they go. Like to the shops or to hang out. I also don't know what the texts look like or anything, obviously. But also, I don't know if it was him in the car. She just said that the cars didn't have their windows down, and they drove slowly next to her. So it could have been him, but also don't know actually who it was. But that's creepy. In any case, I just think sending a message like, anyway. So anyway, I got quite, what I felt like was, I was already like pretty short, feeling pretty short, fused, I suppose. And so I just was quite curt. I think I was like, look, I don't know you're making this more difficult for yourself. Just, it's not that hard. Just say how you feel, say what you want. And she was like, no, I can't, say like, hey, you're making me uncomfortable. Oh, I can't do that. I'm like, okay, well then, okay. Just knocked my drink out of my hands. There wasn't much in it left, but. Also, I was petting Manouk's little dog, and it turned and like, this was the other day, and I was like, "Choo, choo, 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 choo," and then it was like, "Rrr," and went to like bite my arm. I was genuinely shocked and like taken aback, and it had like left a couple of, not scratches, but like indents in my arm that then flared up a little bit. And I was like, whoa, okay, sorry, maybe I did something wrong to her dog. And she was like, no, he just needs to learn not to be an asshole. But she didn't do anything. She didn't reprimand him or tell him off or anything like that. And so I was like, okay, well, this dog's never going to learn then. And then I was today petting Agnes's big dog, big like lab. And I felt myself reserved, like feeling a little, and then the dog like stood up quickly and I felt like a jolt, and I don't know if it was just because today I've been on edge, or if it's like a little bit of soft shock from the previous pup. But I was like, whoa. Yeah. I was taken aback by my own taken abackness, honestly, in that moment. My shoes molding? No, they seem fine. So, I think I will feel better tomorrow. I will sleep soon now and wake up early and do early things, and yeah, it'll be fine. And clean up this mess on the floor. Okay. Okay. Good night.